Altar of God. So that is the section we are looking at today in A Course in Miracles. And this is chapter 2, section 3, the altar of God. The atonement can only be accepted within you by releasing the inner light. Since the separation, defenses have been used almost entirely to defend against the atonement and thus maintain the separation. This is generally seen as a need to protect the body. Okay, so think about all of our thoughts, all of our actions, all of our beliefs and our ways of being that are centered on this protection of the body. Okay, and all of that is a defense against the truth. All of that is a defense of the separation, correct? A defense of this idea that we're separate bodies. The many body fantasies in which minds engage arise from the distorted belief that the body can be used as a means for attaining atonement. Okay, so all of these things that we think we can do, should do, would do, to reach atonement. And that he has that in quotation marks. And here it's atonement with a little a, and it's in quotation marks. So that the body can be used for means of attaining atonement, which is this, to me, means that he's talking about this idea of there's a place where we're going to get somewhere, where something outside of us is going to make us happy. When I get there, I'll be happy. When I get that, I'll be happy. And we're going to use the body to do that, either through our image or either through we're going to use the body to work really hard, or we're going to use our brain to think, or we're going to try to manipulate the situation in some way. We're trying to do something besides look in to find atonement. Okay. Perceiving the body as a temple is only the first step in correcting this distortion because it alters only part of it. It does recognize that atonement in physical terms is impossible. The next step, however, is to realize that a temple is not a structure at all. Its true holiness lies at the inner altar around which the structure is built. The emphasis on beautiful structures is a sign of the fear of atonement and an unwillingness to reach the altar itself. So he's, talking at a couple of different levels here, right? He's kind of brings to mind a church, like these really grandiose, beautifully decorated churches with an altar inside. But he can also be talking about our bodies and how we decorate our bodies, and that the altar is really inside. The real beauty of the temple cannot be seen with the physical eye. Spiritual sight, on the other hand, cannot see the structures at all because it is perfect vision. It can, however, see the altar with perfect clarity. For perfect effectiveness, the atonement belongs at the center of the inner altar, where it undoes the separation and restores the wholeness of the mind. Before the separation, the mind was invulnerable to fear because fear did not exist. Both the separation and the fear are miscreations that must be undone for the restoration of the temple and for the opening of the altar to receive the atonement. This heals the separation by placing within you the one effective defense against all separation thoughts and making you perfectly invulnerable. Right? Because it gives you the atonement. This, remember that idea that error cannot hurt you. You are not vulnerable to error at all. The acceptance of the atonement by everyone is only a matter of time. This may appear to contradict free will because of the inevitability of the final decision, but this is not so. You can temporize and you are capable of enormous procrastination. But you cannot depart entirely from your Creator who set the limits on your ability to miscreate. An imprisoned will engenders a situation which in the extreme becomes altogether intolerable. Tolerance for pain may be high, but it is not without limit. Eventually, everyone begins to recognize, however dimly, that there must be a better way. As this recognition becomes more firmly established, it becomes a turning point. This ultimately reawakens spiritual vision, simultaneously weakening the investment in physical sight. The alternating investment in the two levels of perception is usually experienced as conflict, which can become very acute, but the outcome is as certain as God. Right? So we're going to all get to a point where we've had enough. When we say, you know what? This shit ain't working. I've had enough. I've tried doing this the way that this ego brain tells me to do it. It doesn't work. I know it doesn't work. I've never found happiness. And there must be a better way. Because this book says that God's will for me is perfect happiness. So if that's the case, and I'm not feeling perfect happiness, there must be a better way to do it, right? To follow God's will. And when we first realize that, and we start having periods of peace or vision, but we go back and forth. And as he says, it experiences conflict. Okay, we can, when we're in our right mind, when we're with spirit, we have thoughts that we don't have, and vice versa when we're with ego. And so we're feeling like we're in conflict all the time. Sometimes it feels like I'm in whiplash, like going back and forth. But the outcome is as certain as God. That will not go on forever. Spiritual vision literally cannot see error. It merely looks for atonement. All solutions the physical eye seeks to solve. Spiritual vision looks within and recognizes immediately that the altar has been defiled and needs to be repaired and protected. So immediately when I've lost my peace, the first thing I need to do is realize, oh, my inner altar has been defiled and I need to now protect it. I need to go in with spirit and see what has happened and clean it up myself. Perfectly aware of the right defense, it passes over all others, looking past error to truth. Because of the strength of its vision, it brings the mind into its service. This reestablishes the power of the mind and makes it increasingly unable to tolerate delay, realizing that it only adds unnecessary pain. As a result, the mind becomes increasingly sensitive to what it would have once regarded as very minor intrusions of discomfort. I know for me that's so true. I mean, I notice the slightest blip, right, in my peace of mind now, where I never would have noticed before because I live there all the time. So, as we let go of things, we become more and more aware of where we're losing our peace because our mind is like, oh, I don't like this. I know what it feels like in peace. I want to go back there. The children of God are entitled to the perfect comfort that comes from perfect trust. Until they achieve this, they waste themselves and their true creative powers on useless attempts to make themselves more comfortable by inappropriate means. But the real means are already provided and do not involve any effort at all on their part. So again, we spend our whole lives trying to make ourselves comfortable, whatever that means for us. More money, more love, better relationships, whatever we think we need to be more comfortable, we're out there trying to do it, and it's a big waste of time. That's what he's saying. Like, it's inappropriate means. That's not what brings you comfort. Okay. The real means are already provided and they do not involve any effort at all on your part, on their part, on your part, on my part. We just go to spirit. The atonement is the only gift that is worthy of being offered at the altar of God because of the value of the altar itself. It was created perfect and is entirely worthy of receiving perfection. God and his creations are completely dependent on each other. He depends on them because he created them perfect. He gave them his peace so they could not be shaken and could not be deceived. Whenever you are afraid, you are deceived, and your mind cannot serve the Holy Spirit. This starves you by denying you your daily bread. God is lonely without his sons, and they are lonely without him. They must learn to look upon the world as a means of healing the separation. The atonement is the guarantee that they will ultimately succeed. Okay? Again, he's saying that the only purpose of the world is to heal our belief in separation, and it will be healed. God will succeed. We will succeed in healing our belief in separation because it's already been done. It's not real. There can really not be any other choice. So I hope you enjoyed that reading. Our next one is going to be healing as release from fear. So I love you all. Bye-bye.